Boy, I'm old enough to be your daddy. There you go. That, by the way, was spoken in an Alabama accent, my home state. But I've been thinking about it, you know, I really have. Like, so with me turning 37, it's possible. And actually, I'd say I would be amazed if there's not at least one person watching my videos that your father is the same age as me. I'm 37, okay? Born in April of 1981. I'm 37 years old. So if your father had you when he was 19 or something like that, however the math works out on whatever age you are, I think there's a good chance that some of you have a father who's 37 years old. And I think it's important for me to recognize that because I'm very aware of how I'm a mentor. You know, when I shoot those silly videos in the parking lot at work and people from different floors who've never seen me, you know, in between takes, they'll walk by and they're looking at me kind of laughing. I say, I'm a YouTuber. And they'll go, well, what's your channel about? And I say, well, you know, I mentor younger men. I help them understand their own identity and confidence and that sort of thing. And they're like, oh, that's cool, that's good. You know, because to me, that's what this channel is about. It's not about hair loss. And I think it helps me as I tell people that, because to me, that's my interpretation of this channel. I'm just so aware of the fact that, because like my dad's been in lots of my videos. You can tell the relationship that my dad and I have is a very positive one. He was always there for me. He was very active in my life. And I couldn't have asked for a better dad. But I don't think most of you can say that. I think for most of you, you didn't have that experience with a dad. And I think a lot of you, if your father was in the picture, he was barely in there, or he is a negative influence. Maybe he was always in the picture, but he was so much of a disciplinarian and about creating rules and telling you what to do that there was no true connection there. You know, it goes back to that cliche question, you know, that a psychologist is supposed to ask you. Tell me about your relationship with your father. You know, because it's true, your relationship with your father says so much about you. I see so many people that run psychologically. They're running, they're mutilating their body. You know, they live such obscure lives, and ultimately you can tell that they've got it in for their father. They've got issues with their dad, right? And one of the things that I'm wanting to do with this channel, with the stage front of hair loss, because that's really what this is. It's a stage front for what I'm really wanting to do, and that's to help give identity to young men. And I think so much of the problem is they don't have a good relationship with their own dad. So I have to, and if, by the way, if your dad is 37, please put it in the comments. I want to know. I think that'd be awesome to learn that. But even if I'm not a father figure, maybe I'm that uncle that you never had, whatever positive male role model it is that you didn't have, maybe I'm the closest, best thing you got to that. And I think it's important that I say that to you because I'm very aware of it. You know, I've got all my theories about how hair loss bothers certain people more than others. Let me just roll a few off the top of my head. I always talk about how pornography is one of them. If you're looking at pornography on any kind of basis compared to a guy who doesn't look at pornography and never has, there's going to be a certain level of confidence in a guy like me because my version of reality, I would argue, is much more real. I have not destroyed my psychology by exposing myself to pornography. So I say people who are addicted to pornography, looking at pornography on a regular basis, especially, by default, their hair loss is going to bother them more. I've talked about that a lot. I've talked about how people who allow other people to emotionally affect them. And Sylvan Strength, man, I love you being here. I love you being here, Sylvan Strength. Something Sylvan Strength, the way he interpreted what I said as far as not letting other people emotionally affect you, he says the importance of not being moved by other people. And I made a video about that too, to the fact of if someone compliments me, I accept it and I'm grateful for it. But if someone's trying to tear me down, then I don't let it affect me negatively. It's a decision, it's a choice. So yeah, if you're exposed to pornography, exposing yourself to pornography, if you are the kind of person who allow yourself to emotionally be affected by most of the people. You allow people to offend you and insult you, because it is always a choice. If you're the kind of the person who can't forgive other people, if you're any of those things, I think hair loss will bother you more. And now I'm adding to it, if you don't have a positive male role model in your life, I want to say if you don't have a good relationship with your father, but I think more important, if you don't have a positive male role model in your life and you didn't have that growing up, I also think that your hair loss is going to bother you more. And I'm trying to figure out if, out of 4,200 subscribers right now, if that's the story with a lot of you, if that's kind of what draws you to this channel. Because, oh wow, I never had a good relationship with my father, or I never had a positive male role model in my life. And here's a guy talking about something very masculine and yet very natural that affects most men of European descent. And that is a receding hairline or thinning or balding, all of the above. I encompass it all. I'm the best thing that some of you have to a positive male role model. And I think that is one of the reasons why some of you keep coming back to my channel. I'm always going to say the same thing in my video anyway, right? I mean, my videos are pretty predictable if you're looking at what I'm going to say in them, right? But I think it goes beyond that. I think for so many of you, you look in the mirror, you see your hairline going up, and you yourself are your own worst enemy. You tell yourself in the mirror, you're not worthy, you're ugly, you're not attractive, no one will love you, you're not as good as other guys because they got more hair than you. You tell yourself those lies. So then of course you're going to tune into a guy like this, a positive male role model who says positive things to you and tells you the truth that you're not hearing anywhere else, because you yourself are tearing yourself down every time you look in the mirror. I can understand now why I have 4,200 subscribers. Psychology is what this is all about. Man, we've covered a lot of ground in this video. This whole theme about being real versus being relevant. You know, I love videos like this because I can lean more on the real side, and it just so happens to line up with being relevant. But if I'm anything like your dad and you resent your dad in real life, it's probably going to cause you to resent me that much more. But yet you keep coming back. Deep thoughts, right? Anything you can add to that? Comments. I love it.